Hey team, I'm excited to share this episode with you today. In today's episode, we'll be clocking in with a financial auditor and my longtime friend Cassi. Cassi does it all. She's a senior auditor in the finance sector, and she works with her clients to ensure they are correctly reporting their documents to the United States Securities and Exchange Commission. And on the side, Cassi answers all of my dummy finance questions. All right, get your spreadsheets and docs ready, and let's jump in. Cassi, thanks for coming on to today's show.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
How's everything going?
Everything's going good. Yeah. In the middle of busy season. So we're straight into it right now. Yeah.
Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule, because I remember in the past that would be consuming your life for pretty much the entire busy season.
It can be consuming, but you know what? We filed the 10K for my main client. So we're on the downhill. It'll get better from here.
Nice. I don't even know what that means. And
That's okay.
I'm excited
okay.
to know. Yeah. Something that's really cool, and maybe more specifically is like cool about this podcast project, is that I get to reconnect with so many old friends, and similarly to like who I've talked to so far, we've known each other for quite a while.
Yeah. 9th grade, I think.
9th grade. So
Yep.
2009 for us.
Yeah.
Oh my God. 16 years, 15.
Don't say it like that.
I actually just did the math this morning, and I was like, I think we've known each other for more than 50% of our lives. This is ish.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty close.
You're actually right.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
That's crazy.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I think we should tell people that like the first-ish time we hung out, which is kind of a pretty cool story.
It was Halloween night, if I remember correctly.
2009 or whatever,
Yeah,
that
2009.
freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So funny because Elizabeth's parents had a home haunted house.
Mm-hmm. And we didn't know each other. We just had a mutual friend who so happened to want to go to that home haunted house.
Literally. And then we like went through the haunted house, and then I remember I accidentally like walked into the house. Like I had to be the dipshit, and
I was going to say accidentally.
yeah, literally. I was like,
You don't think that was an accident?
I know, I'm pushing through walls and like trying
to find a handle anywhere.
literally finding any working handle. That's so
There's
funny.
a door here somewhere.
Yeah, literally. I'm gonna find it.
I know there's a door here.
Yeah. And then so it's so funny because in my brain I kind of like see opening the door, and like I probably opened the garage into the house.
Yes.
That door. And so like seeing that, but then back then it was like, oh, that's a house.
Mm-hmm.
And then now it's like, oh, that's Elizabeth's parents' house. Exactly. That was so funny.
And all the light just flooded through the whole haunted house.
Yeah, and just
They were
ruined it for
probably
all
like,
the other guests.
Come on, guys. Like, what are you doing?
Literally.
Breaking and entering.
That's so crazy. Yeah, it's actually been really cool kind of like growing up and seeing how our like paths have like intertwined throughout the years, and
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really cool that we've like stayed in touch for so long.
Yeah, and you actually helped me want to apply for the job I have now. So,
Bro, what?
you actually,
Wait.
yeah.
What? Walk me through it.
I was looking to apply, and the first person I talked to was Joe about it. Basically explained, like, I'm going to have to be working all these long hours. Like, it's going to be harder, but the potential for my career is so much larger. So I think I should try for this. So I ended up putting an application in, but you were like the first person I told besides Joe that I got an interview. And so you talked to me, we talked about interviews, and we texted back and forth about it. So yeah, you helped me make that step to get there.
Let's go. I do remember that. Okay. I think I thought you meant like getting into the career, but you were like, nah, I got there by myself.
That was a different story.
Yeah.
We can talk about that later if you
Literally.
want. But
Wait, that's so cool. I feel honored.
yeah, very full circle moment right now.
Literally. And thank you for being one of my first guests.
Thank you for asking me to be one of your first guests. Super excited.
Yeah.
Season 1.
Season 1, let's go. What's out there? I've never looked at the camera like that. So,
We just broke the third wall.
the fourth wall.
Fourth
yeah.
wall, that wall, all
that
the walls.
one, yeah. What is it that you do? What's your title?
So I'm a senior. I'm an audit senior. So I audit public and private companies' financial statements.
Okay, gotcha. That was always what I thought, but I didn't know if there was like a deeper word. But you're like, so you're an auditor.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Did you have to go to school for that? Because I remember you were doing a different thing.
Yeah, so my career has a very non-linear path in that I originally got a nutrition degree
Hmm.
and that just didn't seem to be the right fit for me. So I ended up working at the local university and I ended up being a front desk girl. And while I was the front desk girl, they needed help with their accounting department. So I ended up stepping in by happenstance. And while I was doing that, I realized, wow, I actually really like this. And so they ended up hiring me on for an accounting specialist position. And then as an accounting specialist, they kind of sat me down and said, if you want to keep going, you kind of need to have some sort of accounting degree. So I went back to school and I got my accounting master's. So
Wait, that's lit.
very non-linear.
I didn't realize that you had a master's degree.
I do, yeah. I have an accounting master's of science in accounting.
Okay, gotcha. So your undergrad was in nutrition and then master's in accounting.
Mm-hmm.
Walk me through at least the master's part. Like, how long did it take? How rigorous was the coursework?
So it took me, I think, 2.5 years. I originally, because I was a nutrition major, I didn't have a single accounting class. So I had to literally start with accounting 101. So it took me probably 2 semesters to get all my prereqs before I could even apply for the master's program. So I did that, and coincidentally, 2020 had a lot of free time on my hands. So I was able to really lean into studying and get it done about 2.5 years later. So it was rigorous. It was kind of challenging because I had never thought about accounting in that way. Like, what's a debit? What's a credit? It's not very intuitive, in my opinion, if you don't really lean into it. So it took lots of going to office hours, lots of chatting with my colleagues at school, and really pushing myself to get it done. But I feel like once it clicked for me, it clicked for me. So.
Gotcha. Wait, this is crazy. So you learned all of your finance stuff, accounting stuff, through your master's? Like, you didn't really know a bunch before that?
Yeah, no. I mean, the job I was doing at the local university was very accounts payable-esque in that I would receive an invoice and I would just input it. It was very data entry, which I loved it. It was really simple, but that just meant I didn't have the technical knowledge that I needed to keep moving on in the career. So I pretty much learned everything during my master's program.
Okay, this is crazy because I kind of think of you as like a financial genius. And so I'm kind of sitting here and I'm like if I have any like thoughts or whatever in finance, I'm like, dude, Cassie would know. So it's kind of like, that's so funny that was all like learned like recently.
Yeah, pretty recently, like in the past 5 years.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So you graduated with your master's in 2020 then? Or like, were you taking tests? Like, what?
I graduated in July 2022.
Wait, what? July 2022?
So I started the master's in January 2020. Took me 2.5 years.
Oh, you started in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what year are we? 2025? It's only been 2 or 3 years.
Mm-hmm. I've only been at the firm for 2.5 years, I think.
Oh, okay.
I almost immediately, once I graduated, went straight to work.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
My timeline is like completely messed up.
All good.
Wait, that's amazing. Okay, wait, that's so cool. Gotcha.
Straight to work.
Straight to work.
Yeah.
Pretty much same. Yeah. Went to school, graduated, and jumped right in.
It's the way to do it. You don't lose any knowledge.
Yeah, literally.
Straight into it.
What is an auditor?
Yeah, so an auditor is someone who, it kind of depends on what the company is, but a lot of times in my role, it pretty much starts the second the 10K goes out, we start planning for the next audit. So during an audit, we're going to look at the financial statements and see how much revenue they have, what their expenses are, what their assets are, what their liabilities are. And we basically review all that information, test it, and say, like, yes, we agree with their financial statements. It's this like 1-page memo that you'll see if you ever read a 10K. You'll see it in the 10K of such and such company agrees with the financial statements, basically. So.
And maybe before we go into that, are there different types of auditing?
There is. I mostly know my own field, which is the financial statement audits, but I know there is like environmental audits. So they can go in and say, yes, this company says that they're very green. We agree with them. I think that's a smaller piece. But a lot of times it's the financial statement audits, which is the company says they have this much revenue and this much expenses. And yes, they materially do have that much revenue and that much expenses.
One of my friends works at a Big Four company, but I think that she is something tech related. So like there's like tech auditing. Do you know?
So
is that a thing?
They help with, we have a whole team of auditors that are in the tech space. And so they'll test the company systems to say, yes, this system protects
whatever
from fraud or.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So they help us.
Okay. Tracking
a lot
you.
of the times.
Okay. So it's like you're the auditor and you have a client. And so when you audit them, whether it's finance or environment or tech, you are going through their statements or whatever and trying to show that they are or are not
Materially
correct. Interesting. Okay, wait, okay, makes sense. Okay, so let's stick with the finance one. So the 10K comes out, you said? Okay.
So it's the annual financial statements where they'll go through and they'll give basically what happened this past year.
Gotcha. Elizabeth is running a 10K. Different kind.
Different 10K.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like not finance related, but I did have to pay for it. So
basically the same thing.
Literally. That's so funny. Who would need to be audited? Is this like a volunteer thing? It sounds like it goes to the government. It would have to, or.
So for public companies, I'm pretty sure every public company needs to be audited. So if you're traded on the stock market, you're probably getting audited. For private companies, it just depends. Sometimes banks will require it. Sometimes they just want to get it done and it's voluntary. It can be for a couple different reasons, but publics require it. So.
Okay, gotcha. And so when you go and audit, is this like a 1-day thing? Is it like a long-standing relationship? How does that work?
Yeah, so it just depends. I know the bigger companies, when they're getting audited, the team will be on that company or that audit for pretty much the whole year, if not the whole year. For private companies, in my experience, it's been a little smaller. Like we might have a 2-week window early on where we'll get a bunch of work done, and then we'll have busy season where we'll really sit down and audit those financial statements. But it kind of depends on the size of the engagement and how big the company is. I think it's probably the biggest determining factor on how long it's going to take us and how many sheer number of bodies they need on that team. Because the public jobs, they'll have a ton of people. Private jobs, might be a few.
So when you are auditing a company, do you have a team with you? Is it just you?
I'm on a bigger company, so our team is pretty large.
Like the company that you're auditing is pretty big. Tracking. Okay.
Yeah. And so we have a big team because of that. So my personal team, there's probably like 8 to 10 of us. And then there's also an IT team. There's 4 or 5 of them. And so they'll do
separate.
The actual.
Like that's not in the 10 that you just mentioned. So
Oh, no, it's in the 10. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're one big team. Okay. So they'll do the tech side. They'll make sure that all of their systems are working, that users can't affect the financial statement systems or any other systems. So it's kind of a big group.
Okay, gotcha.
For us. Yeah. And then if there's other components or there's other teams, it just gets really big really quick.
I see. My favorite thing to send you that I don't understand are Excel memes. And so like, I feel like that is a joke that I see in Big Four stuff about Excel and living in spreadsheets. In your group that is reviewing the financial stuff, nice, you're all like collectively doing your own part and like aggregating information into one super spreadsheet? Or is it like, okay, you're going to take this part of the audit and then it's spread throughout, and then like how does that work in terms of like the team structure? Maybe let's ignore the tech side.
Typically you're given like an area. So like our first year was given accounts receivable. So he was auditing that little area. And usually each of us have a different area. We also try to have some synergies in that, where if this person is auditing the accounts receivable balance, they're also auditing the accounts receivable controls. So they typically, we kind of bunch them up like that. And it's usually by year. So we'll have our first year always do very specific
Interns.
things.
It's slightly higher than intern.
Yeah.
Nice.
Second year, I'll do something different. And then once you get to a senior, it kind of gets passed around with who's doing what, kind of who has a specialty. So I have a particular specialty for our company where I usually am going to be testing that specific thing. And everyone knows like, yep, Cassie knows how to do that specific area. So we'll give that to her.
All right, track her down.
She knows how to do that.
All right. What are your thoughts on being the specialized person?
I actually kind of like it. I feel like a lot of the times my job is very like, I have to learn something new.
Cool.
And so every once in a while, when you get to not have to learn something new and you already know how to do it, it can just be so mentally relaxing to know like, yes, I already know how to do that thing. Like,
Easy.
Come talk to me about it. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Now that you're a senior, does that imply that there are people below you, or like, do you manage them, or are you just like slightly above with different responsibilities or slightly more responsibilities?
I think it's both and. I try not to. Technically, we are on a hierarchy system in that,
Makes sense.
It's a ladder. The first year is the bottom rung. Then you have your second year, your seniors, your managers, your senior managers, and your partner. So it is very hierarchical in that way. But the way I like to manage is I want us to just all be a team.
Yeah.
And our team is very much like that. My senior manager, for example, was having to step in and help me prep work papers. And that wasn't below her. She was more than willing to say, what's on your plate? We're a team. We have to get this all done. So while technically I would say, yes, the two people below me, I'm in charge of and manage them, I don't like to think of it like that because we're all just one big team. We just got to get it done somehow, and I'll step in where needed and they'll step in where needed and we make it happen.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Similarly to engineering, you're right. It's similar in the sense that you have an associate engineer, and then it goes up to engineer, and then senior engineer, and so on. And then there is a fork in the road that is, do you want to stay technical or do you want to become a people manager type thing? So it's like there are senior engineers that I work with, but they don't necessarily manage the people below them. They're just like a slightly higher level. Have slightly more responsibilities and, that kind of stuff. So I was curious to know if it was similar in that regard.
It can be. I mean, there are seniors that would prefer to be more of a technical senior. So they'll more learn a very specific kind of area. Like I do overtime revenue. I know a lot about overtime a lot's a strong word. I know some things. Let's keep humble. I know some things about overtime revenue.
I think you should just say you're an expert in it.
I'm not an expert. Oh my gosh.
Not yet.
606 away from me.
Not yet.
I'm more of a people senior.
Oh, wow,
I'm
cool.
Hoping next year to be the lead senior again. So
that's the next step?
Yeah, I was lead senior this year. We just didn't have anyone else. So I was the lead senior by default. Okay. But next year, I think we're going to have a bigger team. So I'm hoping to be lead senior again. I'll be a little more involved with project management and making sure that everyone's on task. Everyone knows what they're supposed to do.
Timelines are hit.
Client relationships are kept.
Nice. Yep.
That's typically where I prefer to be. But
cool.
With some more technical knowledge too.
Oh, for sure.
I'm a little bit of both. I'm a little hybrid at this point, but
okay.
I think next year I'll be a little more of a lead senior and a little less of a hybrid senior.
Walk me through like the each years? Like you refer to the first years as first years. Is that literally what they're called?
Yeah, they're called first years. I mean, I think their technical job title is like associate, but we
Gotcha.
should call them first years. Yeah.
I see. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, we're in like a class system. So I have a class. We're all hired at the same time. We're all at the same level. We all get promoted at the same time. So.
Whoa, that is so interesting.
Yeah,
Because
it's like school. And it starts in September too.
so it's like, hey, this is a September cohort.
Cohort, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
And it's usually like, it depends on where you are. But we were like 20 of us were hired at the same time. So we were a class of like 20.
Okay.
And we all got promoted to senior at the same time. And then when we all get to manager, we'll all do it together.
I think we should go a little bit more in depth on this. That is so interesting because from my experience, it has never been like that. Mm-hmm. And I want to hear a little bit more. So you said that, okay, this September is going to be a new cohort that comes in, the new set of first years. Firsties.
Yeah.
Do you guys bully them?
No.
Swirlies. No, just kidding. That's so funny. But that is so weird, or not weird, but that is such an interesting concept because, so like, can you describe the career progression that an auditor can have? Because it seems extremely structured.
Oh, it's super structured. So even just starting before you're hired, typically they will recruit from specific target schools, specific grad schools. Sometimes you'll do an internship. I actually didn't do an internship as a direct hire, but we all started in September together. And then you do your first year and you do your second year before you get promoted to senior. So during my third year, I got promoted to senior. It's not even technically 3 years. It's kind of busy seasons because you start in September, which is why I'm a third year, but I've really only worked there for 2.5. So after your fifth year, you get promoted to manager if you have your CPA. And then...
Do you have your CPA?
I do have my CPA.
Slay. Let's go. That's lit.
3 more years later, so your 8th year, you get promoted to senior manager. And then at senior manager, you basically have to start doing interviews and rounds and kind of proving your worth to the firm to get promoted to either managing director or partner.
Okay, that's kind of lit. Immediately, my thoughts are like, what about the people that can't perform or the people who don't have their CPA? It's like, oh, you're just like locked there?
Yeah, so
how does that work?
If you don't have your CPA, you usually stay senior until you get your CPA. There's one guy at the firm. He's amazing. Adore him. He just got his CPA a couple months ago, I think, and he got immediately promoted to manager after that. But you technically could sit as senior for multiple years until you got your CPA. So it just depends.
What is your progression metrics, I guess? It sounds almost like it's just on years. So
we do get rated
like
based on our performance.
Yeah, performance review or whatever that's called.
Yeah, so they do it based off of our technical knowledge and then based off of how we work with the team. So you can be just the best at 606, you know, all of the accounting guidance, but if your team doesn't vibe with you and you're kind of a bad person, like, yeah, you're not going to get a good snapshot, so you're not going to get a good promotion or raise or
merit increase,
whatever. So it's both and.
Okay, gotcha. But with that, I feel like there has to be a pretty strict, like, bruh, you're underperforming and it's been a few times, like, is it like we're gonna keep you here or we're going to like have to let you go type thing?
So I think if you don't get promoted, you don't stay.
Like, what does that mean? Like you would leave by yourself, or is it like implied that you should leave, or is it more of a, bro, you're gone?
I think it depends on the person and depends on the circumstance. But when we went to senior, there were 2 individuals that no longer worked there.
Yeah.
After.
Because not everybody can become a partner, or I guess I don't know, right? So like there has to be some funnel, or that concept is just like ingrained in my brain. So it's like.
Yeah. And it's a little bit of people leave to go to see other opportunities.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Public accounting is a stepping stone for a lot of people, and that's completely fine. So they'll go get a couple years in, be able to say like, yep, did my year of senior, did however many years, and then they'll move into industry, or you can stay. Just depends.
That was the perfect transition, because what are other career opportunities that you can do? Like you said that you can leave and not continue being an auditor. What else?
Yeah, so you could, depending on when you leave and kind of what your goals are, a lot of people transition into corporate finance kind of positions. Some people might do maybe, I know I have a friend who left to do, I don't know what his technical job title is, but he is helping a company write their 10K for a new company. And then some people go into accounting specific roles. So typically that's you're either going to do finance or you're going to do accounting. Just depends on which one you prefer. I've heard finance is a little different and a little less in the weeds. But if you like the weeds are there for you.
Big fan of weeds. You know what I'm
I
saying?
quite like weeds.
Oh, okay. So the words finance and accounting are two separate terms. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a quick, what's the difference?
Quick, finance is usually looking forward more and accounting is more in the moment.
Accounting is like, make sure that our ducks are aligned. Finance is kind of like financial, like modeling and like
A lot more
progression.
planning, a lot more higher level. Yeah. And accounting is more like, these dollars are coming in.
Are they right?
Yeah, let's record those.
Interesting. Okay. Do you have an interest in in either, or?
I like both. I mean,
Okay, gotcha.
I'm pretty happy with where I am right now. So
Right. Oh, okay, wait. So, I feel extra dumb now. Okay, accounting and finance are from the, like, your client's perspective, but you're an auditor, which is kind of like a third thing.
yeah,
Tracking you.
Tracking.
Okay, so then you work more with the accounting team than with the finance team.
we work with both actually,
Okay.
especially because we'll get the statements and we might look at margins and see, oh, it looks like your margins have gone up. So we have to go to the finance team and ask,
Why'd you predict this?
yeah, why did margins go up? Was it, and finance isn't always like predictions. It's sometimes just like what? It's just much more higher level, and accounting is a little more in the weeds typically. So the finance people will be able to say, yes, we had this big event that happened, gave us better margins, or, oh, our product mix changed. And so we were pushing more higher margin products out the door, those kinds of things. So
Okay.
we do talk to both we talk to both departments.
Can you describe what your normal day-to-day is like?
I typically get to work somewhere between 7:30 to 8:30, just depending on how my workout was, what I'm doing, how traffic is. So we'll say I get there at 8:30. A lot of times we check base with our offshore team at about 8:30, so I'll have a call with them. And then I'll get into the day. I'll usually check my emails real quick. And then depending on where we are in the year, will kind of depend on what I'm working on. If we're earlier in the audit cycle, I'm probably going to work on walkthroughs with the company where I'm going to ask them, how do you do this? And I'm going to document that and write down, this is how they do that. When we're a little later in the year, like the 10K just came out, we're probably going to be testing. So earlier in the year, they told me that they did it like this. I'm going to go see, did they actually do it like this? Did they do it differently? And then also maybe test those balances and see, they said they made $10 million. I'm going to take one sample and see, yes, it looks like it was recorded right. Thumbs up. So just depends where we are in the year, what I'm working on at the time. But a lot of times I'm pretty head down until I have a meeting, and I'm getting more of those every day. So
That's awesome.
The higher up you get, the more meetings you get.
That makes sense, because when I text you, it says the notifications are off.
Yep.
And I'm like, push anyways, or whatever.
Locked in.
Locked in. Gotcha. That's so funny. So are you in office 5 days a week?
I am. I prefer it that way personally. I feel like I can lock in better. If I'm at home, it's just a lot harder to stay focused on the task. Okay. I can, but it's a little more challenging.
Do you always go to the office? Do you visit your clients? Like, what's the ratio? Do you travel for work?
Yeah, so I haven't had to travel. I did like a little bit for a different client, but for the most part, I tend to do 3 to 4 days a week at the client. and then 1 or 2 days a week at my firm, just so that I can see my coworkers, my colleagues that are also auditors. So
Okay, wait. So you're actually with your client like
most of the time.
most of the time. Interesting.
Yeah.
Is your team with you too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. We're a big group. We all sit together.
Yeah.
They have a little spot for us. We have our snacks. It's a good little area.
Are you always there, or does it depend on the season?
It does depend on the season. So when we're earlier in the audit cycle, we tend to spend more time at our office. But once we get later in the season, it's a little better to be there at the client in case they have questions. We have questions. We can just run over. Hey, I'm seeing this. Can you help me understand?
All right. What does busy season mean? Because it seems like you work a lot.
I do work a lot. Yeah, so busy season is typically before a financial statement's going to go out. We will really put it into high gear and start working a lot of hours. At my firm, during busy season, we have mandatory 55s starting in January, and then that runs through April. So during that time, we're pushing our public client out. Once the public client goes out, we're working on private clients, getting their statements out. If you're on an off-cycle busy season client, though, you might be working busy hours during non-busy season. I thankfully am not on an off-cycle client, but it just depends what kind of clients you have.
Gotcha. 55 hours.
Mandatory.
Oh, wow. I didn't even think of that.
More
Wow.
sometimes.
Yeah, I was going to say, in reality, is that like, what is it like actually like?
I'd say
Ballpark it.
Ballpark, I'm probably doing 60 to 65 hours during the public client,
Okay.
and then probably 55 to 60 during the private clients.
Gotcha. Does that include the weekends sometimes?
Yeah.
I guess maybe there's not enough hours in the normal days.
There's not enough hours in the normal days.
Nice.
You have to work on the
Tracking you.
weekends.
Okay.
I used
see.
to try to squeeze it all in as a first year, but you just exhaust yourself because you'd stay up late trying to do this. You're not working out. You're not eating healthy. So you kind of have to do the weekends. So we'll usually do a Saturday morning to Saturday afternoon and then leave.
Is there like a PTO blackout?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Interesting. Makes
So
sense.
January to April,
It's like nobody's taking PTO.
no. Not unless you have like a really good reason.
Yeah. Like, hey, I'm going to Cancun, so. No, I'm just kidding.
Obviously.
Yeah, sorry.
Obviously,
Yeah.
that's a really good
Yeah,
reason.
Costco travel.
Yeah.
I'm already going.
It's so cheap. Like, I have
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you understand.
Whoops.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Yeah. That's funny. Okay, gotcha. Can you kind of like walk me through what your like salary progression has been?
Yeah, so starting back at the university, I was not making a ton. I don't remember exactly what it was, but we'll say somewhere in the 30 to 40 range originally.
Is that per 30 to 40K per year, or is that per hour?
That was per year.
Okay, tracking.
And then I know that my first promotion that I got once I received my actual accounting master's before I went to the firm, I think that was about 50K. And I was so excited. That was
Nice.
like big deal for me. I was pumped. And then I went to the firm and I was making somewhere in the 60 to 65 range. I don't quite remember. And then when I got my promo, I'm making now somewhere in the 75 to 80 range.
Okay, nice. Do you get any like bonuses or anything?
Yeah, so I'll get a bonus here soon. I don't know what it'll look
Let's
like.
go.
I'm
Cancun.
excited. Cancun. But we'll see, yeah. There's also been rumors and speculation that this should be a really good promotion. Or not promotion. This should be a really good merit increase for us because some of the big four firms have been bringing up the first year salary pay. And so we're expecting compression. We're expecting a pretty good raise this year. So
Oh, like a calibration? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
So what I'm making now is not what I'll be making next year. That's for sure.
Wait, that's lit.
I'm excited.
Yeah, that's cool to hear that because from my experience, at other engineering firms, they'll say, yep, the first years or whatever are, yep, they're getting pay raises, but
You're not.
But you're not. Nice.
Figure it out.
Yeah, figure it out. Have fun.
Yeah, no, we're going to get compressed that's what the rumors have been hearing. So
Okay, gotcha.
I have some good sources, so I'm feeling confident on those rumors.
I like that. Fingers crossed for you.
Thank you.
Are there any perks working as an auditor or at your firm? I see that you guys do a lot of fun stuff. Is that like team based? Or is that just like your firm being cool?
There's definitely a lot of perks. Our firm really likes to make sure that we feel involved in the team. So there are a lot of happy hours. I know at the end of busy season, we've been told there's probably going to be another busy season celebration for the whole firm. So that's nice. And then you also have an individual team celebration that I still need to plan. Sorry, team.
Oh wait, you're the planner?
I'm going to plan it. Yeah.
You're going to be the perfect like manager.
I'm so excited.
Nice.
We're going to have a good time. Yeah. Usually you'll have a small team party and then you'll have the big firm party. We do Christmas parties and then there's like a $1,000 wellness subsidy that we get to use. So
sick.
I get massages on my wellness subsidy, which is really nice, very relaxing. So there is a lot of little things that don't necessarily feed into my salary, but that I really enjoy and benefit off of. And like during busy season, we get lunches every single day. So
sick.
depends. Yeah.
Like catered in lunch?
Yeah, we DoorDash.
Okay.
We DoorDash a lot of food.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
So
I think it's really cool when your local leaders, like, in your department or whatever, try and make it fun at least. Like, I get that we can't control like from the super top all the way down, but from my experience, I've always had a really cool set of leaders, I guess, that try to make it fun and like setting up like happy hours like you're saying, and that does affect your mental health and that does make it like valuable,
Yeah, and if you're going to be spending 11 hours a day with these people, like I need to like them.
Yeah.
So we try to make it a fun environment. Obviously it's still work. It's going to be hard, but we don't need to hate ourselves while we do it. We might as well enjoy it. So
yeah, literally.
We try to make the team be fun as much as we can.
I do that at work. I am the potluck guy.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. It's awesome. I go around each quarter and I'm like so annoying with it, but I'm like, it's important.
It's potluck time.
Yeah.
We do sparkling water hour. So we always do sunshine walks during busy season just so we can see the sun. So after our sunshine walk, we all pop our sparkling waters at the same time together.
Wait, that's lit.
Yeah,
is that every day or is that once a week?
That's every day.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. We sent the first year. Get a bunch of LaCroix, a bunch of Waterloos.
First year's, it's on you.
It's on you. I had to do it my first year, and actually I also had to do it my second year because the first year didn't have a Costco membership, and I did.
Okay, that's
so
awesome.
I did it both years.
Nice.
But the new first year, he has a Costco membership, so
awesome.
Tons of sparkling waters, yeah. Lots of snacks.
That's really cool that you said that because I try to instill that into my team. Every Tuesday, we try to do a crush some air, and it's like, let's go. Where we just like leave the office and we just walk around for 30 minutes and outside and get some fresh air, get some sun in us,
Love that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do 15-minute walks around the company I'm at, actually, the client site. They have this 1/4-mile track.
Oh, perfect.
And I think it actually might be like a 1/2 mile, but they have a decent little track. So we'll go walk around that for 15 minutes and go back upstairs. You need some sunlight sometimes. If you're going to spend all day in a dark room, just breathe some fresh air.
Literally. Do you have any advice for anybody who's interested in becoming an auditor?
Yeah, I'd say probably just have a good attitude about it and be willing to learn. I know I was a little cocky when I first started. I was like, you know what? I've been in accounting already. I've done a couple years of this. I'm going to be so good at this job. It'll humble you real quick. So as long as you're willing to have a positive attitude about that and be willing to learn and grow, that's literally all we're looking for.
That's so cool. Cassie, thank you so much for coming on to today's show and explaining a little bit more about what it's like being an auditor.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
And that concludes today's episode. Thank you again, Cassie, for letting us clock in with you and sharing your experience as a financial auditor. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider giving this video a thumbs up. All right, I'll see y'all on the next one.